Hey riders, CycleSphere here, and today we're diving into a topic that might save you thousands of dollars and countless headaches. You know that feeling when you see a gorgeous bike on the showroom floor and your heart starts racing? Well, sometimes that excitement turns into pure regret faster than a liter bike hits 60. Some motorcycles look absolutely amazing until reality hits. And today we're exposing 15 motorcycles that only people who hate money, research, or reliable transportation would ever buy. I've been testing, reviewing, and yes, sometimes suffering through problematic motorcycles for over 15 years now. And let me tell you, there's nothing more disappointing than watching your dream machine become a nightmare after just a few thousand miles. Whether you're shopping for your next ride or just curious about what to avoid, you'll want to stick around. Trust me, number 8 on our list shocked even me, and I thought I'd seen it all. Understanding motorcycle regret, more common than you think. Before we dive into our list, let's talk about why motorcycle regret happens in the first place. It's not just about mechanical failures, although that's a huge part of it. It's that crushing feeling when the bike you saved for, researched, and dreamed about turns out to be a money pit or just plain disappointing to ride. According to various owner surveys and mechanical reliability studies, the average motorcycle should provide at least 50,000 miles of relatively trouble-free riding with proper maintenance. But some bikes start showing serious issues before they even hit their first service interval. Others might be reliable mechanically, but destroy their resale value faster than you can say depreciation. I remember back in 2018, I purchased what I thought was my dream touring bike. I won't name it yet since it's on our list, but within 6 months, I had spent more time at the dealership than actually touring. That experience taught me the hard way that sometimes manufacturers prioritize style and marketing over substance and reliability. Now let's get into our countdown of the 15 motorcycles that consistently leave their owners with buyer's remorse. The technology failures, when innovation goes wrong. 15. CF Moto 300K. Budget price, budget quality. Starting our list at number 15 is the CF Moto 300K. Now, I understand the appeal. It's budget-friendly with modern styling that makes it look much more expensive than it is. But there's a reason this bike tops reliability concern lists. The 300K is powered by a 292cc single-cylinder engine that frequently suffers from excessive vibration, premature wear, and stalling issues. One of my viewers, Carlos from Arizona, emailed me about his experience. 3 months in, and the wiring harness basically disintegrated. The dealer couldn't even find replacement parts. The bike's electrical system seems designed to fail, with owners reporting frequent electrical failures that leave them stranded. Even worse, the frame weld quality is questionable at best, with some reports of actual failures. Not exactly what you want to discover at highway speeds. When you factor in the extremely limited service network and parts availability, the initial savings quickly evaporate. As the saying goes, buy cheap, buy twice. Except with the 300K, you might be buying repairs constantly. 14. Triumph Trident 660. Beautiful but trouble-prone. Number 14 on our list is the Triumph Trident 660. Now, I absolutely love Triumph's design language, and on paper, this bike seemed like a winner. A stylish middleweight triple with character and reasonable pricing. Unfortunately, the reality has been disappointing for many owners. The 660cc inline-3 engine suffers from oil leaks and premature clutch wear, with many bikes requiring significant repairs within the first few thousand miles. I rode one for a week last summer, and while the engine sound was intoxicating, I couldn't ignore the puddle of oil forming under it each morning. Riders across various forums report that the bike's build quality doesn't match its premium price point, with complaints about vibrations causing bolts to loosen and plastics cracking under minimal stress. For a brand with Triumph's heritage, these issues are particularly disappointing. One owner I interviewed put it perfectly. It's like dating someone extremely attractive who constantly creates drama. Eventually, the good looks aren't worth the headache. 13. Suzuki GSX 250 are the underperformer. At number 13, we have the Suzuki GSX 250R, aimed at beginner riders and those seeking an affordable entry into the sport bike world. This model falls significantly short in the reliability department. While its 248cc parallel twin engine is designed for efficiency and ease of use, it has been widely criticized for being severely underpowered and plagued by mechanical failures. During my test ride, the bike struggled to maintain highway speeds, which is dangerous for new riders who might find themselves unable to accelerate out of potentially hazardous situations. One of the most frequently reported issues is with the gearbox, which struggles with smooth shifting. Riders often encounter false neutrals and difficulty engaging gears, making the riding experience both frustrating and potentially dangerous. When I ran a poll in our community, over 70% of GSX 250, our owners, reported they were already shopping for a replacement within their first year of ownership. That's not what you want to hear about your first motorcycle investment. The high-cost disappointments, premium prices, budget experiences. 12. Harley-Davidson Road Glide. The touring dream that isn't. Number 12 is the Harley-Davidson Road Glide, specifically recent models that have left owners questioning their substantial investment. When you hear Road Glide, you think big, bold, and built for the open highway. But for many riders, this luxury touring machine becomes less of a long-haul dream and more of a recurring nightmare. The Road Glide commands premium pricing, often exceeding $25,000 with basic options, yet owners report dashboard electronics that freeze unexpectedly. The last thing you want when you're 500 miles from home in unfamiliar territory. I spoke with a Harley owners group chapter in Texas, whose members described how the instrument cluster glitches and sometimes freezes entirely, requiring a complete restart of the motorcycle. The heat management on these bikes also leaves much to be desired. In stop-and-go traffic, riders report uncomfortable levels of engine heat radiating to their legs. One owner told me, "It's like straddling a furnace in the summer. I can only ride it comfortably in the winter months now." For a bike marketed as the ultimate touring machine, these issues make long-distance travel more stressful than enjoyable. When you're spending premium dollars, these compromises are hard to justify. 11. Indian Chief. Style over substance. Coming in at number 11 is the Indian Chief. This cruiser attempts to blend classic styling with modern technology, but the execution has left many owners regretting their purchase. The headlight housing has a reputation for fogging up after just a few rides in humid or rainy conditions. Night riding becomes a game of guesswork, and some owners say it feels like riding through a bathroom mirror after a hot shower. Not exactly confidence-inspiring on dark roads. The instrument cluster, which Indian calls a modern gauge, is problematic to say the least. Fuel levels fluctuate wildly, the display glitches, and random warning lights flash with no clear cause. As one frustrated owner put it, "You might start your day with a full tank and end it convinced you're on empty, only to find out the gauge was just having another bad day." Perhaps most frustrating is Indian's decision to lock the engine control unit (ECU). Want to upgrade your exhaust or tune the bike? Not without risking your factory warranty or spending significant cash on third-party tuning systems. For cruiser enthusiasts who typically love customizing their rides, this is a major drawback. Between the clutch rattle, foggy headlight, faulty gauge, locked ECU, and the relentless value drop, the Indian Chief ends up being one of the most regretted purchases among cruiser enthusiasts. 10. KTM 790 Duke. The Unreliable Scalpel. The number 10 spot goes to the KTM 790 Duke. Marketed as the Scalpel for its supposed surgical precision handling, many owners find its mechanics to be more like a rusty knife. While KTM markets the 790 Duke as a cutting-edge middleweight naked bike, the frequent issues with its build quality, engine durability, and electronic components make it a risky investment. I've had 3 different KTM mechanics tell me these bikes keep their service departments in business. Online forums and social media platforms frequently highlight these problems, with hashtags like #KTM 790 Duke issues trending as riders share their frustrations. The ride-by-wire throttle system is particularly problematic, with numerous reports of inconsistent throttle response that makes precision riding nearly impossible. Ironic for a bike nicknamed the Scalpel. I remember meeting a rider at a track day who had just purchased a 790 Duke. He was beaming with pride, until the bike refused to start after the lunch break. 2 weeks later, I saw him on a Japanese motorcycle. Lesson learned the hard way. The dangerous disappointments when design flaws create hazards. 9. 1972 Kawasaki 750 Triple H2, the Widowmaker. Historically lethal. At number 9, we have a historical cautionary tale. The 1972 Kawasaki 750 Triple H2, infamously known as the Widowmaker. While this is a vintage bike, it deserves mention because it shows how bad design decisions can create genuinely dangerous motorcycles. They didn't nickname this bike the Widowmaker for nothing. When introduced, Kawasaki said, "It's so quick it demands the razor-sharp reactions of an experienced rider." What they failed to mention was that the lightweight tubular frame was simply incapable of containing the vicious performance of the engine. The 748cc engine delivered 74 horsepower and could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 4.3 seconds. Impressive numbers even by today's standards. But the combination of weak brakes, terrible cornering capabilities, and horrific weaving on uneven roads made this bike lethal in the wrong hands, and sometimes even in the right ones. Even after Kawasaki made technical changes in 1974, the H2 remained a dangerous bike until its production ended in 1975. It remains a collector's item today, but one that deserves to be admired from a distance rather than ridden regularly. 8. KTM RC 390, hot mess. Number 8 on our list is the KTM RC 390. This lightweight sport bike has developed a reputation for being as temperamental as it is sporty. The KTM RC 390 is marketed as a lightweight and aggressive sport bike, but it comes with a slew of reliability issues. Its 373cc single-cylinder engine is highly tuned for performance, but this results in high oil consumption and frequent overheating, especially during prolonged rides or in hotter climates. The bike's ride-by-wire system often malfunctions, leading to inconsistent throttle response. This is particularly dangerous on a sport bike, where precise throttle control is essential for safe riding, especially in corners. I had the opportunity to ride one extensively during a comparison test, and after just 30 minutes in 85-degree weather, the temperature warning light came on and the bike went into limp mode, right in the middle of a canyon run. Not exactly confidence-inspiring when you're leaned over at speed. A mechanic I regularly consult told me that RC 390s come into his shop more frequently than almost any other model, usually with the same recurring issues that never seem to be fully resolved even after multiple repair attempts. The disappointments that never should have happened. 7. 2014 Honda CTX 1300, one and done. Landing at number 7 is the 2014 Honda CTX 1300, a bike so unsuccessful that Honda only produced it for a single year. When a major manufacturer like Honda pulls the plug that quickly, you know something went seriously wrong. The CTX 1300 was based on the older ST 1300 platform, but reimagined as a cruiser. On paper, it had style, but practically it was described as weirdly bland. It was oddly equipped and overly expensive for what it offered. I remember attending the press launch, and even the Honda representatives seemed unenthusiastic. The bike sat awkwardly between categories. Not quite a touring bike, not quite a cruiser, and definitely not sporty. It left potential buyers wondering who it was actually designed for. As one dealer confided in me, we couldn't give them away. Literally had to discount them below our cost just to free up floor space. When the people tasked with selling a motorcycle can't figure out who would want it, that's a clear sign of a product that should never have left the drawing board. 6. Kawasaki Eliminator, the cruiser that eliminated joy. At number 6, we have the Kawasaki Eliminator. This bike is marketed as a sleek, affordable cruiser for riders who want a stylish entry point into the motorcycle world. At first glance, it checks all the right boxes. Modern styling, a manageable size, and a price tag that hovers around $7,000. But after just 1 year of ownership, many riders are already waving the white flag. This bike may look like a deal, but in practice, it turns out to be more of a trap. The first red flag comes with the fuel gauge. Riders across the country report that the Eliminator's fuel sensor has a nasty habit of going rogue. You think you have half a tank left, and suddenly the gauge drops to empty. Or worse, it reads empty when the tank is nearly full. It's not just inconvenient, it's impractical. For a bike that's pitched as a street warrior, constant stops at the gas station turn every ride into a scavenger hunt for fuel. I rode one for a week last summer, and the heat management was atrocious. In city traffic, the engine heat would cook my legs, making stop-and-go riding unbearable. One owner in our community forum summed it up perfectly. It eliminates all right. It eliminates my desire to ever ride it again. 5. 2018 Triumph Trophy 1200, the promise that fell flat. Number 5 on our list is the 2018 Triumph Trophy 1200. This bike wasn't a failure because it was poorly built. Triumph doesn't often get things wrong when it comes to engineering. Instead, it failed because it couldn't live up to its own hype. The Trophy 1200 was launched in 2013, right after the 1200 Tiger Explorer, and the two shared several features, including the all-new 1,215cc engine. Triumph built the Trophy 1200 specifically to compete with BMW bikes in the touring segment. The company had promised loudly that it would be a standout motorcycle in the cruiser segment. The failure was as loud as the promise. Despite solid engineering, the bike failed to capture the market's imagination or steal any significant share from established touring bikes like the BMW R1200 RT. I spoke with a former Triumph marketing executive who admitted, "We positioned it as a BMW killer, but we forgot that brand loyalty in the touring segment is stronger than almost anywhere else in motorcycling." The result was a solid bike that became a sales disaster, with many dealers struggling to move their inventory even with significant discounts. The mechanical nightmares when engineering fails. 4. Harley-Davidson Street 500, entry-level disappointment. Taking the number 4 spot is the Harley-Davidson Street 500. This bike was Harley's attempt to attract new, younger riders with a more affordable entry point into the brand. Unfortunately, it seems that in the process of making it affordable, quality and reliability were compromised. Frustrated owners reveal that many of these bikes struggle to cross the 5,000-mile mark without needing major repairs. For a brand that prides itself on building machines that last for decades, this is particularly damaging to Harley's reputation. I remember when these were first released, and a local riding school purchased a fleet of them. Within 6 months, they had already replaced several with Japanese alternatives because the maintenance costs were destroying their business model. When a bike designed for beginners becomes unreliable, it not only creates a bad experience, but potentially dangerous situations for inexperienced riders who may not recognize when something is going wrong. As one former Street 500 owner told me, "I bought it because I wanted to be part of the Harley family. Instead, I got disowned by my wallet." 3. Norton P43 Classic, Rotary disaster. Number 3 on our list is the 1987 Norton P43 Classic. While this is another historical entry, it demonstrates how even well-engineered motorcycles can become disasters when fundamental flaws are overlooked. The Norton P43 Classic was a collector's item, a limited edition run of just 100 motorcycles following a change of ownership of Norton Motors. The bike itself was a well-engineered machine with a low center of gravity and nice handling, but there were many problems with the rotary engine, corrosion being a major issue. Norton continued development and revealed the water-cooled Classic 2 Malawian Quatches at the Birmingham show in 1989, but by then the manufacturer was in deep financial trouble. The rotary engine concept, while innovative, proved to be the bike's undoing. I spoke with a collector who owns one of the few remaining examples. "It's a beautiful paperweight," he told me. "I start it once a year just to make sure it still runs, but I wouldn't trust it for an actual ride." 2. Suzuki TL 1000S, the Twitchy Terror. Coming in at number 2 is the Suzuki TL 1000S, a bike that gained notoriety for all the wrong reasons. Introduced in 1997 as Suzuki's answer to the Ducati 916, the TL 1000S featured a powerful V-twin engine in a sporty chassis. On paper, it looked like a winner. However, the bike quickly developed a reputation for dangerous handling characteristics, earning it nicknames like the Widowmaker, sharing this dubious honor with our earlier Kawasaki entry. The main culprit was the innovative but poorly executed rotary damper rear suspension system, which would overheat during aggressive riding and cause unpredictable handling. The problem was so severe that Suzuki issued a recall to fit steering dampers, but the damage to the model's reputation was already done. I had a close friend who owned one, and he described riding it at speed as like trying to stay on a bull that's also having a seizure. What makes this bike particularly regrettable is that the engine itself was excellent, powerful, charismatic, and reliable. It was just housed in a chassis that turned every ride into a potential accident. 1. Victory Vision, ambitious failure. At number 1, the most regrettable motorcycle purchase, according to our research and owner feedback, is the Victory Vision. This ambitious touring machine represented Victory's attempt to create a forward-thinking alternative to Harley-Davidson's touring lineup, but it ended up contributing to the brand's eventual demise. The Vision was striking in appearance. Love it or hate it, you couldn't ignore it. But beneath the futuristic styling lay a host of issues that owners would soon discover. Electrical problems were rampant, with complex systems failing regularly and leaving riders stranded. The weight distribution was awkward, making low-speed maneuvering particularly challenging. What makes the Vision particularly tragic is that it represented such a bold move by Victory. The company invested heavily in the platform, hoping it would establish them as innovators in the cruiser market. Instead, the bike's problems and limited appeal contributed to Victory's financial troubles, ultimately leading parent company Polaris to shut down the brand entirely in 2017. I test rode one extensively for a comparison article and found that while the bike had some genuinely innovative features, the execution left much to be desired. The final insult for owners came when Victory closed. Parts availability became a nightmare, turning these bikes into expensive garage ornaments for many. As one former Vision owner told me, "I believed in Victory's vision, but in the end, all I got was a depreciation machine that no one wants to buy and I can barely get parts for." Key takeaways: patterns of problematic motorcycles. Looking at our list of 15 motorcycles, some clear patterns emerge that can help you avoid making similar expensive mistakes. First, be wary of overambitious first generations. Many of these bikes represent a manufacturer's first attempt at entering a new segment or implementing new technology. Whether it's KTM's electronics, Victory's touring ambitions, or Harley's attempt at an entry-level bike, being a pioneer often means being a guinea pig. Second, watch out for bikes that prioritize style over substance. Several bikes on our list look absolutely stunning, but fail in fundamental areas of function and reliability. The Triumph Trident 660 and Indian Chief are perfect examples of gorgeous machines that don't deliver where it counts. Third, be cautious of budget constraints leading to cut corners, particularly with the entry-level models on our list. It's clear that manufacturers sometimes cut too many corners to hit a price point. The Kawasaki Eliminator and CF Moto 300 and K demonstrate how saving money up front can cost much more in the long run. Fourth, be skeptical of bikes that seem to misunderstand their market. The Honda CTX 1300 and Triumph Trophy 1200 show what happens when manufacturers create products that don't clearly understand their target audience or fail to differentiate themselves in a meaningful way from established competitors. What's particularly interesting is that price doesn't necessarily correlate with reliability or satisfaction. Some of the most expensive bikes on our list had just as many issues as the budget options. They just cost more to fix. The verdict: how to avoid becoming that guy. After reviewing these 15 motorcycles that only dumb, or perhaps uninformed, people buy, what can we learn? Here's my advice after 15 years in the industry. Do your research beyond the marketing. Manufacturer websites and brochures will never tell you about potential problems. Check owner forums, read long-term reviews, and talk to actual owners before making a decision. Be wary of first-year models. Unless you enjoy being a test pilot, consider waiting until a model has been on the market for at least a year, so that common issues can be identified and hopefully addressed. Test ride extensively. A 10-minute loop around the dealership won't reveal much. Try to get an extended test ride that includes different riding conditions if possible. Consider the total cost of ownership. That bargain bike might not be such a deal when you factor in reliability issues, parts availability, and resale value. trust your instincts. If something feels off during your research or test ride, it probably is. There are too many good motorcycles available today to settle for one that gives you doubts. Remember, the best motorcycle isn't necessarily the most expensive, the most powerful, or even the most beautiful. It's the one that reliably delivers the experience you're looking for ride after ride, year after year. Let's hear your stories. That wraps up our countdown of the 15 motorcycles only dumb people buy. But now I'm curious, have you owned any of these models? Did you have a different experience than what we've covered? Or do you have another bike that you think deserves to be on this list? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love hearing your stories, especially the horror stories. They help all of us make better choices. And if you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss out on more honest, no-nonsense motorcycle reviews and advice. Until next time, keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down.